So the DCEU was doing a average, alright job with Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, and Suicide Squad. A lot of people hated those movies. A lot of people thought they were okay. Some people even loved them. And I'm totally fine with that. That's their own opinion. But in my opinion, we got, after these three movies, we got Wonder Woman, which is what I will be reviewing today, which is the fourth DCEU film, but it's set before all of them, except for the beginning and the end scenes. It's like Captain America: The First Avenger, in which it's set before all the Marvel movies except for the beginning scene and the ending scene. Now, Wonder Woman, to me, was the first absolutely great movie in the DCU, the great first movie in the DCU. Man of Steel was very dull. Batman v Superman had some moments of greatness, but some moments of sheer incredible stupidity, as did Suicide Squad. But Suicide Squad had entertainment in terms of trashy entertainment, and this one is just such a more incompetent movie, or more competent movie. I'm talking over myself. A more competent movie where it feels like, while the other ones relied on style, and like this one relies on style, but most importantly, substance, characters, writing. Like this one, I don't see anybody hate on this one. I truly do love Wonder Woman. I think this is a great superhero movie. I think this is honestly one of the best ones I've seen in the DCEU. But it's also one of my favorite. If I had to rank this on like superhero movies alone, this one might be really high up there because it is actually really damn good. Diana Prince is just an incredibly engaging and heroic character. She feels like a true hero based on her naivete, like how this character is in Themyscira, which is this island full of just women, and don't they don't know anything about the outside world. And whenever she has to go to the outside world with Steve Trevor, played by Chris Pine, she has to learn and realize that this is what the world really is, this harsh, horrible world, and it's in World War One. Whenever she goes out into the world, so I really love that a lot, and I love how this character is a true hero, and how Gal Gadot plays it with her performance. She's fantastic in this movie, but also how there's scenes on the battlefield where like they're in the trenches and or they're going through the trenches and they find all these people that are injured and dying, and she stops for every single person, and they're saying they're like, we got family who are dying, we got kids who are dying, and she wants to help everybody, but Steve Trevor tells her no, you've got to go and stop the evil, stop the head person, you can't just save everybody, not everybody can be saved. And I love how this character looks at that like she doesn't understand, and she wants to save everybody. And she gets so mad and furious about it because of how true of a hero she is, but she's naive in a way where she's not dumb, she's naive in which she's never been out in this real world. And it really works with how Gal Gadot plays her performance. Her performance is so incredible. And Chris Pine as Steve Trevor is really good as well. I think he's a funny character. He's a good fish out of water character at the beginning where he lands in Themyscira, but then they go out into his world, and then she becomes the fish out of water. So I like that balance between both of them, and you can see why they become good friends and maybe lovers by the end of the movie. And again, talking about Wonder Woman, her naivete is great. She understands nothing of the world outside of this island, and it's funny to see her react to some of the things around her. I love the scene of her going in with Steve Trevor and talking to all the leaders of in the office, and they're saying we got to get more men, we got to get more men out there. And this is a fantastic moment because she says to him that they are cowards, that they're hiding in the offices. The people where I come from, the people that the leaders where I come from, the leaders would go out and help everybody. They would go out and do something. You all are cowards hiding in your office. We would fight with our men if if it was our leaders instead of you guys. It's a great scene, and she just says you should be ashamed. You should be ashamed. It works so well in how the acting is, and just how this character realizes how horrible of a world she has gone into. Like it really works in that way. And like there's just scenes of Gal Gadot being adorable and being so whimsical where she sees happy things in this world too. Like she walks by a guy selling ice cream and like she gets ice cream and tries it and she's like amazed and she says you should be very proud and like the guy's like thank you and like it's just her reactions are so genuine and so sweet and just so kind and I love how it shows the good sides too that she finds in this horrible world as well in World War One. Like I love that as well. It balances that out great. And also the scene of her trying on dresses and not understanding that women don't fight in this day and age. In that day and age, they don't fight wars like they weren't allowed to, and they unfortunately weren't allowed to at all. So she doesn't understand that, but she doesn't care. She goes out and fights. So, it's awesome, and I love how she learns of. I just love how she learns how everything is so corrupt. Like everything in the world is corrupt as it has always been, and there's this great moment where again how I was talking about they were in the battlefield and the trenches and like Steve Trevor says no you can't do this like you've got like we've got to get to this point where all these people are shooting off at everybody where they haven't moved an inch in a year on the battlefield and what she does is she gets on her suit runs out destroys all the people shooting at him and it's one of the most coolest most badass moments in the movie just because of the action because of how this character is built up to how she can do things other human beings can't do. She's not really a human being. And she goes out and just kicks their asses and kills all these enemies. And I love how quick she dismantles all of them. And it just works in the build-up of her being such a great character and her getting angry and like she wants to do something. And since she's got the ability, she can. And again, using World War One as a backdrop to become a true hero, I think is really fantastic because she still learns she can't help everyone, and I like how it's got that balance or not balance that distillation of like her going into this ugly London, like it looks ugly, and like she goes there from being in Themyscira, which is this beautiful island. Like I like that difference, which is an obvious difference, like they do on purpose, but I think that's really cool. And then the ending of the movie. This is one of those things where I've heard people go, I don't like the ending, or I don't like what it becomes. And I completely understand what they're going for, because for the most part, the movie, until the end, was more... I guess grounded is the word, but it's not the right word because it's about a superhuman character. Like, but I do love that ending where Ares, where you realize who the real Ares is, who implants like negative thoughts into people's heads, like throughout the ages. That fight between him and Wonder Woman, I think, is great, and I think it actually, with that happening while Steve Trevor sacrifices himself to stop the bombs. That moment of like Chris Pine just looking at the camera like for like a solid, I don't know about not a minute, but like 30 seconds, like this character just sits there, stares at the camera like he's breathing and he knows he's about to die, and to that look where he shuts his eyes and he gets that, and I know even though you don't hear his inner thoughts, you know in his thoughts this is what I have to do, and then it blows up, and then that reaction of Diana Prince on the ground screaming in anguish, in anger that he's dead. Like, I love the fact that Ares has that counterbalance of saying like mankind is doomed. Like they're not gonna do anything. There's nothing you can do to save mankind, and you're wrong about them. And then Diana, I love how after he dies, she says, "No, you're wrong," and how she says that even though it's kind of a small t thing to say, like about love and how love is the way of why you are wrong about them, and it really is an epic moment still, and it really is a chilling moment, and that fight is great between them both, and just ending the fight I think really worked very well. And then I love the fact that it plays again after the fight to the beginning of the movie where she says that she's lost faith in humans, where it's in current time after Batman v Superman, and then at the end of the movie it's again that moment from the beginning where it continues on, where she said she lost faith in humans, but she's also gained hope in them. And it just really is a sad way, bittersweet way to end the movie, because she ends without having Steve Trevor. She ends having nothing, and she's just lived her life for 100 years away from Earth. So then it makes it to where she realizes that her true calling is to save mankind, no matter if it needs to be saved or not. So I love that moment. I love how this character is such a true hero. She really is a true hero in how she acts, and her actions, her emotions, like everything about her screams true human, or I mean true hero. So Wonder Woman is one of my favorite superhero movies because of the character development, because of the action, because of the cinematography, because of the music. I guess there's so many things that I could point out about this movie that I already have pointed out, that I think just make this one of the better superhero movies overall in terms of every superhero movie ever made. I don't know where I'd rank it in all of them. Maybe that might be fun one day to rank them all, like the superhero movies I've seen. But as of now, this is a great superhero movie with a fantastic character, with a fantastic story, with great action, great emotion, great genuine emotion, a great incredible performance by Gal Gadot. The first best true DC movie, and I really really loved Wonder Woman again on rewatch, and I've seen it like 4 or 5 times because it's that good, and it's the only one out of the DCEU that I watched that many times. I think it's the only one that's really worth watching that many times because of all the things I pointed out. So that's my thoughts on Wonder Woman. Tell me down below what you think of Wonder Woman, and thank you guys so much for watching.